Hey guys, it's Jason. I'm back. I haven't done a video for quite some time, but I'm back because I'm going to take a look at a game that I don't have a box cover for because it's a prototype and it is called The School of Sorcery. School of Sorcery is a game from Dr. Finn's Games, which is going to be a new re-implementation of a game that they put out a couple years back called the Institute of Magical Arts. Plays the same, but it has a couple rule tweaks, and it gives you a couple differences in some of the cards that you can play. But outside of that, it just looks nicer and more modern. So what this game is it's a two-player game. Players are going to be different witches or wizards or whatever you want to be. And you're trying to be the best wizard in this school to get different types of teachers to come on your side, get some broken wands, get some different types of artifacts to help you just be more powerful than the other player. You're going to do that through some really cool cards that are going to like tell you when you can cast some stones to locations, and you might bluff to make people think you're going to a location. It's pretty straightforward. It's pretty simple, but there's still a little bit of thinking in it. So let's stop talking about it. Let's go down to the table, see how it plays. Alright, so here's a game of the School of Sorcery, which is a re-implementation of the Institute of Magical Arts. All set up. This is a two-player only game. So to set up, you're going to give each player their board, which looks like this. It'll have points, and then it'll have round trackers over here. You're going to start with some points based on some cards you get. I start with 3, and I'll explain how we get that in a second. You give each player 3 dice of their color, so in this case it's blue and orange. 3 reroll tokens, which look like this. And these are all prototype components, so just know that some things may look a little different later. And each player is going to get cards of their color, which look sort of like this. So they're going to have a color and an action. So this is cast 2 stones on a location. All this stuff will make sense in a little bit. All right. Then you're going to shuffle up all the red cards. And you're going to give each player 2, or you can do a draft. You'll give each player 3, and then you drew the draft. But I don't really like doing draft stuff. So in this case, the points. So let's look at the card. So this is how many points I would get. This is the action it would have. So I have this action to use, and because I started with these 2 cards, I have 3 points. And that player has some cards too, and I'm going to be playing as the blue player. So I'll actually go first, I guess. All right. Then you're going to put 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 out here. That's the locations. You're going to put the portal, which looks like this, above location 6. And then you're going to deal out 1 location to all the other, or 1 card to all the other locations. And then we're going to roll. All right, so the game is pretty simple. We're going to go down this board, and we're going to do the action of the step of the phase that we're on. So in this case, we would start by taking 5 crystals. So we each get 5 crystals from the supply to be used when we're playing to try to win some cards. The goal of this game is to be the first person to hit 13 points. All right, so we each have 5 crystals. Then we're going to move down to number 2. We're going to cast crystals. So what that is we're going to roll dice. If we don't like our roll, we can spend a reroll token to reroll as many as we want. And I'm actually going to do that for mine. They're going to keep, they're going to reroll as well. They don't like having the same number. So I'm going to reroll these 2 5s. Sweet, all right. And they're going to reroll the 2 4s. All right. So then what you're going to do is you're going to take one of these cards, and you're going to assign 1 card to each die. So let's see here. What do I want? I'm going to try to go for action number 5. So I'm going to take 3 crystals. That means I'm going to take 3 of my crystals and put it on this action. So I'm going to go here with 5. Then I'm going to go over here with 2. And then I'm going to, for my 6, I'm going to actually do a bluff. I'm not going to do anything, but the opponent doesn't know that. And then they're going to do the same thing. There's not a ton of room, so I'm just going to try to block it. So they have a 6, 5, and a 3. They actually want to do get some crystals on 6, so they're going to play down this one at location 6. And then they want to play down What's location 3? That's a person. That's pretty nice. They're going to put down this one on location 3. And then for location 5, they're going to bluff. So they're going to bluff on 5. Then we'll go like that. All right. Then we will reveal all at the same time. So here are the 6s. Then once I reveal, I'll do the next part of it. Revealing takes a little bit with one person doing it. So these are both 5s. This is a 3. And this is a 2. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to assign stones. So 6. Orange is going to put 2 stones on the portal. So they're putting 2 stones up here. Then the card can go away. Then take the die back. 6, I'm bluffing, so I'm doing nothing there. Take my card back. Then I'm at 5. I'm going to put 3 stones on 5, which is the magic gems. You put them on the actual card, not on this. Take my card back. And then they're going to bluff at 5, so they're not putting anything at 5. And then this one is 1 stone on 3 for orange. And then we're going to do this card. So this one was a 2. This means I get to flip the die to the other side, and there's a little marker on the bottom of your board to show you what that is, but die faces add up to 7 on opposite sides. And then I get to put a stone on that space. So I'm going to flip this to a 5, and then I'm going to put a stone on 5. All right, and that is the end of the turn, or end of that phase. Then we're going to move to 3, using the portal. So the portal is a way to get gems on other cards without people knowing where you're going. So if you're the only person on the portal, you get to pick up your gems and put them anywhere you want. If there's multiple people, you're going to do like a random, you're going to take a die and kind of put it behind a card like this. And then you're going to adjust it to where you want it to go, then you reveal and all that. But since there's only one person, they're going to go wherever they want, and they want to start adding to another person, and they're going to go right there. All right, I don't have anything on the, blue doesn't have anything on the portal, so nothing. Then we're going to activate powers. So starting with whoever has the hat, the witch's hat or wizard hat, we're going to activate powers. So these are the powers that I have on blue. So I get to shift an opponent crystal if your opponent has more victory points, or take 1 reroll token if you have 2 or fewer tokens. So I have 2 or fewer, so I get to take a reroll. And shift an opponent crystal if your opponent has more VPs. They do not, so my powers are done. Their powers are add a crystal to location 3 and or 4 if you have fewer crystals there, which they do not. And then roll 2 dice and remove an opponent crystal from each die location. They can do that. All right, so they roll 2 dice. 6 and 5, so I don't have anything at 6, but I do have something at 5, so that's gone. And that's their special powers. All right, and that's it. Then we'll evaluate locations. So what we're going to do here is we are going to look and see if we've met the threshold. So let me explain how the threshold works here. So you can see up here, there's a 3, and then there's a smaller 2 under it. So in order to win this card, you have to have 3 gems on it. But the trick here is you have to have at least 2 more gems than your opponent. So say I had 3 and the opponent had 2, I would have to get 4 if they still had 2 to get this card. And then you're going to get those points. So that's a little bit of the trick of the battle that we're doing here. Now, during the activate powers, this should have moved over here actually. And then whoever, if this player has the same or greater than the player who was first, they become first player. If they have less, then this player remains first player, I think. I'm not 100%, but I'll put a note on first player on the video. Okay, then we go again. So we'll start up here. Take 5 crystals. That's a lot different than the old game. The old game, you had to play cards to take crystals. So this one, you're just getting crystals, which is nice. So let's see, 5 crystals, but there's no way to get crystals outside of this. All right, then we will cast crystals. So we'll roll the dice. So I have a 2, 3, and a 5, and they have a 1, 5, and a 6. All right, so what do I want to do? I want to try to win this 5. So I need 2 crystals on 5, and they know I need 2 crystals on 5. But that's fine, so I'm going to go here. 2 crystals on 5. And then I'm going to have a 2 and a 3. Let's start battling for the 3. So I'm actually going to go here with my 1 crystal for 3. And then I don't want 2, actually. So I'm going to bluff at 2 with my bluff card. And then they're going to do the same. So they have a 1. They'd like to get another person up in this business. So they're actually going to go here with their 3 stones on 1. They're going to try to collect people, because people are some serious points. They have a 5. They're actually going to bluff on the 5. So they'll put the 5 there. And then for the 6, they're going to use the 2 here. They know I don't have a 6, so I can't fight it. But they don't know what cards I played, but that's their hope. All right, then we're going to reveal. Here are the 5s. And a 3. The 2. And the 1. That was a 1. All right, so then we go. So orange is going to cast 2 stones to the portal. Take all this stuff back. Then they're going to bluff on the 5. Blue is going to cast 2 stones to the 5. Here. All right, and then 3. Blue is going to cast 1 stone to the 3. Blue is bluffing at the 2. And then 1 is casting 3 stones up to there. All right, so that's that. Then we're going to use the portal. So orange, once again, is the only one that has these on the portal, stones on the portal. So they're going to actually go to number 1, 2. And I'll explain why they did that later. All right. Then we're going to activate powers. So they get to activate their powers first. So they get to add a crystal to location 3 or 4 if you have fewer crystals there. They do, oh yes, so they get to add 1 to 4. I probably should have done that last time, but I didn't look at it correctly. Okay, then roll a die, and remove a stone from each location of your opponent. So 6 and 6, I don't have any, so good to go. Then my special powers are shift an opponent's crystal if your opponent has more victory points. They do not. Take 1 reroll token if you have 2 or fewer. I do not, so I'm done. All right. So now we go down here, evaluate locations. Okay, so 5, I win 5, and here's why. Because I have 5 crystals, and I had to have at least 3 more than my opponent. They didn't have any, so I get this card. When I take this card, I get 2 points, because you see the 2 in the upper right-hand corner, so I get 2 more points. And then when we do abilities, I have another ability that I can use, so that's good for me. Nothing here. This one slides down, though. Nothing here. This one has 4, so the orange will get this one because they had 4 stones, had to have 2 more than me. I didn't have any. And they're going to get points based on score as many victory points and take as many crystals as characters that you have. This is their only character, so they get 1 point and 1 crystal. So we'll just put that there. So 1 crystal. Actually, I'll put it over here. You don't need to see it. And 1 point. All right, and they didn't win that. These all shift down. And then we bring out some new cards. All right. If the portal ever gets to number 1, it gets set up to the side. You refill 1 to 5, and then the portal comes back to 6. The portal never hangs out at number 1. All right, so now this would come to me. I have more cards, so I think they keep it. I'm pretty sure. The first player is easy to figure out. I just can't remember what it is. Then we're going to go. I'm going to play through 1 more round, so maybe we can win some more locations and see what happens. All right. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to get 5 gems. Crystals, I guess. So 5 crystals. All right. Then we are going to cast crystals. So we have 3, 5, 6. What's the portal? Portal's at 4. I have 2 1s and a 4. I don't want these 1s, so I'm going to re-roll. I'll re-roll. Yeah, that's fine. We'll roll with that. All right, so I'm going to... Oh, shoot. I took the wrong dice. Whatever. All right, so blue is got a 6, which is a magic pendant, which is take 1 crystal for each character you have, which is not good for me. I don't really want that. So actually, this re-roll should have came from there. And I would have gotten mine back. So let me go ahead and actually, I'll re-roll my 6 as well because I don't want that. So I got a 3. I'll take the 2 3s. That's fine. All right. So for the 5, I really want that. I'm gonna try to get that card. So I'm gonna put the 3 down, put it on the 5. Then I have 2 3s, and I'm actually gonna go ahead and put the 1 down and the 2 down, so I can get 3 crystals on there, hopefully. All right, then orange is going to do the same. They have 2 4s and a 6. So for the 4s, they're going to go all out, and they're going to use the portal for 5, which I probably should have seen coming, which I didn't, but that's fine. And then for this one, they are going to do 1 stone right there. All right, then we're going to flip. So we have 6, 5, 4. Slide those down. So 3 and 2, and then the 3s. All right, so then we go. So 6 is putting 1 crystal on the magic pendant. 5 is putting 3 on the magic carpet. So these are gone. Oh, wrong way. All right. Then 4 is putting 5 crystals on the portal, which is pretty awesome. That's 4 crystals, 5 crystals. And then blue is putting 3 crystals on number 3. So 3 crystals on number 3. All right. Then we will use the portal. So the portal, this player has 5. They're going to move them all somewhere. So let's see. Let's go ahead and... Ooh, they're really going to chat me off. So they're going to go here. Put them on there. All right, they did that. Now we're going to activate powers. So they get to activate theirs. Add 1 crystal to location 3 and or 4 if you have less crystals, which they do. So they're going to put 1 here. Oh, and they can do that, but they don't have any more. So they'll just go ahead and put it on the portal. And then roll 2 dice and remove crystals from your opponent. 5 and 6, so I get 1 to go away. All right, then mine are add 1 crystal to any location if your opponent has more victory points. They do not. Shift an opponent's crystal if your opponent has more victory points. They do not. Take 1 reroll token if you have 2 or fewer. I do. All right, and that is that. Then we will evaluate locations. All right, so we start with 6. No one gets that because there's only 1 gem. So this one will go. They need 4, and they need to have 2 more than me. This player has 5, and I have 2. So all theirs go away because they have more than 2. But because I had stones on there, I get to take stones up to the number of the difference and keep that. So I had 2 stones, so I get to take 2 because it's number 2 on there. And this player gets this card. It is, I'm not sure what orange is. I think that's a 1 ability right now. So they get a point. And they get to shift 1 of their crystals. So they're going to actually shift this one over to there. And I'll show you why they did that later. All right, and then this one fires. So I get this one. I got a broken wand. So I have to have 3. I have to have 2 more than the opponent, which I do. So they're going to get their 1 back. And then my 3 go away. And then I get to score 7 victory points if you have both broken wands. Right now I only have 1, so it's not worth anything, but I'm taking a gamble. All right, and then these will all slide down. Nothing here. And then this one will fire. That's 4. So that's why they moved their 1 gem here, so they can get that. All right, so this player gets another person. So they now have 2 people, 2 characters. So they're going to score as many victory points and crystals as they have characters. They have 2, so they will get 2 points. 1, 2. And 2 crystals. All these slide down. And then we will get 3 new cards up and running. And first player will shift over here, which I think I would keep it. I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter. All right, so that is how you play the School of Sorcery. You keep going like that until somebody has 13. This player has 6. I have 5. So we're getting there. It's about a 30, 40-minute game, and it's super fun. So that's enough seeing how it plays. Let's go up to the top. See what we think about it. All right, so that was the School of Sorcery. Just like the Institute of Magical Arts, I am a huge fan of this. I really enjoy 2-player games. I play them a lot with my buddy Brandon and my wife, and there's just something about only a game that can only play at 2 players, and the way that they're made, where they're kind of just made to basically outthink your opponent. And that's kind of what this one is, because you're rolling dice. Everybody knows what your dice values are, but they don't know what card you're putting under that die. You could be bluffing. You could be flipping that die to the other side. You could be throwing 3 stones out there, and they're always thinking that, but they never know what you're doing. So I really enjoy that of this game. So before I get into my final thoughts on it, I'm just going to tell you what some pros and some cons are. So let's get started. So pros, 2-player only, and the 2-player mechanisms and gameplay of this game is incredible. I mentioned it a little bit up at the top, but I really like those games where you're trying to outthink your opponents, and this one does that in a pretty neat way. Second pro is I really like the art. It's just like generic fantasy type art, but I like it. So I know art's subjective, so take this one with a grain of salt if you want, but I like it. Third thing, which is a new thing that was added in this version as opposed to the other one, is this player board. This player board is really cool. You had the scorecard in the old one, but you didn't have this, which is basically breaking down the phase of the game. This was on a separate card, but I really like how they put it in the spell book and it's tracked with the little witches or wizard hat. That is really neat. I like that. And to go along with that, I'll just kind of make this the component piece. I really like these reroll tokens. Not sure if this is what they're going to be, because I think this is just a tiddlywink with a sticker on it, because this is a prototype. But I really like this. They're like thick, so if it's cardboard, I like it. I think in the last game it was just a black cube. I love cubes, but this kind of gives you a better information as to what this does, and I like that. While we're on components, so like these gems, the crystals are really nice. In the last game, there were discs that were red and blue. So the colors were red and blue instead of orange and blue. And there was a small disc, which was powered. They were called powered crystals, I think. And there was a bigger gem, a bigger disc, which was 3 or 5. I can't remember, but it was confusing. And it didn't fit in the box very well because they were so big. This will eliminate that problem. They look nicer. They get the point across because they're supposed to be crystals. So now they look like crystals, and I like that. Whoops, drop one on the floor. Oh. Fourth pro, well, third or fourth, I don't know. Whatever the next pro is, are the ability cards. I like that when you're getting these red cards throughout the game, it's basically making you different than your opponent. So everybody starts out a little different because you're going to have 2 different cards. But as the game progresses, there are going to be more of these red cards that come out that are going to give you even more opportunities to be different than your opponent. And I really love that. There's even some press your luck stuff, which I like as well. So basically this card, which I took in the overview, if you can't get both of these, it's worth 0 points. But if you can get both, it's worth 7. So there's a little press your luck there, and I'm a sucker for that. I don't have any cons on this game. I loved it when it was the Institute of Magical Arts, and I love it now. I can't really give cons anyway because it's not a final copy, and I'm not, I can't critique the rule book because it's not final. It's just a Word document. There were some changes that the designer sent over before I did the run through. I took out a couple cards. I marked on one because he changed some rules around. But again, that's not a con. That's a game in development. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give this a rating. And I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10 because I like this a lot. So this is BGM accepted all day. I didn't ever do a video on the other one, but that one probably would have been a 7.5 because I didn't like the way it fit into the box, and some of the graphic design choices I didn't like. But this one, a lot of that's been cleaned up, so it bumps it up to an 8. So that's BGM accepted. This is a great game. This is fantastic. If you like 2-player games and you like any of the other Dr. Finn games like Little Flower Shop, Cosmic Run, Institute of Magical Arts, Biblios, if you like his games, he does what he does very well, and this is no exception. So that's my review for the School of Sorcery, and I'm Jason with Board Game Mechanics, and as always, keep gaming.